So this is U.S. import dependency on Mexico and Canada, or the combined share of imports from Mexico and Canada from each U.S. state. Obviously, there are certain states that are way more reliant on these two neighboring countries than others, like obviously Hawaii. Hawaii's only at 6%. Huh, you don't say. It's almost like Hawaii is an isolated island on the back end of the globe. I find it fascinating that Montana is so dependent on, well, likely Canada, since Canada's right up here. I don't know how much exactly they're importing from Mexico into Montana, but it can't be that much. Remember, this is the combined share, so both Canada and Mexico coming together. Montana is actually the most reliant on those two countries, but even though places like New York and Pennsylvania might border Canada, they're really not that reliant. New Jersey even less so. Now, they don't border either Mexico or Canada, but they're only at 11%. Still, regardless, all these percentages would add up over time across all these states. I mean, first of all, 28%, this is just for the US overall, it's the average percentage. Assuming for some of these bigger states like California, even though they border Mexico, I think a lot of their imports really come from China or Japan, most of Asia. That's like a West Coast thing. Whereas the East Coast goes, a lot of their imports are probably coming from Europe. If you only border either Canada or Mexico and you're landlocked, then yeah, you're very likely going to be, well, very reliant on the neighboring country. The Great Lakes states obviously have, well, the Great Lakes. Texas gets the best of both worlds as they border Mexico, but they also have the Gulf of Mexico here, or Gulf of America, whatever you want to call it. Look at how dependent Maine and Vermont are. I think Maine is really interesting just because they do have a coastline. They are out there with the Atlantic, so they really like getting stuff from Canada, I'm guessing.